Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to the
The
Ginger and Spice podcast. So, do you want to tell everyone what books we're going to be covering this week?
Absolutely. We had a wonderful week this week.
We did.
Didn't
However,
we?
some of the books that we have read, we're not actually going over in this podcast. They're going to be moved to the next one.
So we're going to start with Dirty Priest and Dirty Daddy. Last week we done Dirty Little Sinner, which was amazing. These are actually book 1 and 2 of that series. We had to read them, so we'll be going through those, and they are by Samatha Barrett.
Yeah, Dirty Little Sinner was actually book 3, so we actually did that the wrong way around.
Yeah.
We did book 3, then 2, then 1.
Yeah, went really backwards on that. But
yeah,
they were still great. Still enjoyed them. So we're going to do Dirty Priest and Dirty Daddy by Samatha Barrett. Then we're going to do For the Love of Kane by Ames Mills. And then we're going to round off with Dear Reader and Watch Your Back by Tate James.
Yeah. Also part of a series.
Yes.
They're both 2 books in the series. Is the third one's coming out in September?
Yeah.
For that. Book 2 ended on a cliffhanger.
I can't even discuss how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Well, I will do later. So the 2 books that we did read, which are going to move to next week. So the first one was Speak, but because we enjoyed it so much, we want to read Stutter. Mm-hmm. So we'll be going through that next week. And the other one was Ensnared and Entangled.
Yeah.
So Entangled actually turned out to be a lot longer than what we thought it was going to be. So again, we're gonna do both of those next week as well.
Yeah, we didn't actually finish Entangled.
No.
We could have, but it was at a point where we were like, are we really going to be taking this in if we force ourselves to finish it, or
literally
should we
yesterday as well?
Yeah, or should we just like call it a day and push it into next week? Because we did have Ensnared. We were like, we could actually just leave it because we had so many other books anyway to talk about. So we decided to drop Entangled from this week's podcast, and we added in Dirty Priest last minute. Now, because that was only like 142 pages, we were like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just add this in. So we added that in last night, which meant that we could round off that series by Samatha Barrett nicely. So, talking of Dirty Priest, let's get into that series.
Let's get into it.
Well, we'll get into the first 2 books because we did book 3 in last week's podcast.
So let's start with Dirty Priest. So this was a lot.
Yeah.
Not as a lot as the second book, but it was still a lot.
So I actually feel like, personally, the series got better as the books went along. Mm-hmm. Like, each book got better. And there was a lot of things in book 1 that you also got in book 3.
Yes.
But they were done better in book 3.
So I did find that a lot of the spicy scenes that happened in book 1 were all very samey.
All right. Do you want to do a rundown?
I'd love to do a rundown. So we've got Peyton, who is living with her mum and her stepbrother Hudson. They have a leak in the house, so of course they've got to move out. And who better to move in with than Hudson's 2 best mates, a priest and Kai, just some guy. So they both move in with those 2, and obviously it's going to get hella spicy from there because she's the only girl in the house and they all want her.
Yeah, so she... I literally don't even know where to start. Peyton moved in with her mum and her stepdad and her stepbrother, obviously next door to the priest and Kai. And as soon as she moved in, basically the priest and Kai were like, yeah, she's a bit of all right. Yeah. So the priest became a priest because of his, let's say, preferences in the bedroom. He was sort of like, they are really dark, no one's going to want me, no woman is going to want those sort of things. Yeah. So I'm going to hang up my sexual desires hat and I'm going to become a man of the cloth. So he becomes a priest. Yeah. But he's like covered in tattoos. He's obviously quite young. And all of the older married women, you know, that are part of the church fawning over him. Yeah. And then you've got Kai, who is bisexual. And Kai and Hudson, her stepbrother, are actually getting it on. Yeah. So the very first night that she moves into their house, she catches Kai and Hudson getting it on.
And just stands there and watches it unfold.
Yeah. Almost an exact replica of the scene that happens in book 3 when she first moves into their house. So in book 3 she joins in, but in book 1 she doesn't. She just catches them, gets a little bit turned on, and then she goes back to her room and sees to herself. And they could obviously hear her moaning and whatever after. So she literally catches Kai arse deep in Hudson. Yeah. And, you know, locks eyes with them and they just carry on.
Yeah. I think Van, or Father Pierce, Van literally stands behind her and just sort of holds her there so she can't move anyway.
And he's sort of like, I can't remember what he says. There's something about like, are you enjoying the show or something like that? Do you like watching them or something? Anyway, she gets all scared and runs off back to her room. So, and that's basically how it starts.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that is a great indication of the rest of the book, because it goes off.
It really did go off. Oh my lord.
So many things happen. I'm just thinking about the whole book. And it's only literally like 100 and something pages, but so many things happen. So the boys all decide that they really like her, and they're sort of like, well, what can we do? Because she's obviously scared, and she's scared of being judged by everybody that she's with all three of us. So what can we do? So they're same as book 3. They're like, oh, let's mask up and chase her in the woods.
Yeah.
But Father Pierce is like, this has to be a one and done situation. I need to get out of my system. It'll be a one-time thing. I'm not doing it again. And before that even happens, he ends up sticking a couple of digits inside her on the sofa one night when Kai and Hudson are upstairs getting it on, being really loud. And kind of from that moment, the priest is obviously sort of
He's done. He's done for.
Yeah, it's obviously not going to be a one and done situation.
The idea was, because he'll be wearing a mask, he's a different person. He's not Father Pierce anymore. He's like a new guy. He's just some guy.
Yeah.
So the first chasing scene, she was actually on her period, and he did not give a flying fuck. Like, his head was so far in her that like he could see up the other end.
Father Pierce had his head between her literal bloody legs, and I was extremely uncomfortable.
Like, she got passed around as well in this scene. Like, they opened her up and was all in her, and she was just like, the amount of blood that must have just been everywhere.
Well, they said at the end of the scene, didn't they, that Father Pierce, his face was just covered in blood, because obviously to go down on her, he needed to lift his mask up, so, and his face was just covered in blood.
That was only one scene. Like, and then the next day they went and saw her again, and they was like, you still on?
Yeah.
You still on your period? Because we love that shit.
I mean, again, it was one of those situations where you're like, you know, in the scene, she's like, oh, but my brother and his friends, you know, they'll see, or they'll catch me, or whatever, or they'll know. And it's like, how can you not know?
How do you not realise that that's them? Like, you've been living with them for the past however long.
Yeah, and your brother literally told you that he heard you on the phone to your friends telling them that you want to be chased. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I do find that frustrating. As much as I enjoy the story and actually enjoy the madness of the book, because I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed the whole series a lot. But those parts were frustrating where you're just like, oh, obviously, like, we needed at least some internal dialogue of her going, I wonder if it could be them.
I would have been,
that would have
more
satisfied
than happy
me
if she said that, but she didn't.
No.
She kept saying, oh my god, the three boys, if they find out about this, they're going to think so many different things about me. I was like, fuck off, that's them.
Yeah, I know.
Literally them.
That's so obvious.
Yeah.
But aside from that, we had a great fucking time.
I had a great time.
So let's do ratings, and then we'll loop back to the chocolate bunny scene.
I knew you was going to say that as well. I knew that was coming. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so let's do stars first.
Yes.
So I can't remember if I gave this, because on Goodreads you can only give it like round numbers 1 to 5,
which is really irritating.
Yeah, I can't remember if I gave this a 3 or a 4. I only did it last night, but it was late. I want to say I gave it a 3, but I rounded it up to 3.5.
Yeah.
So it was like a high kind of 3, because I did enjoy the other books more. And like I said, I feel like because we started at 3 and worked our way backwards, we had more context for where her writing had progressed.
Yeah, for sure.
Potentially in the series, because
the expectations were high when they probably should have been lower. So I gave it a 4 on Goodreads, but actually it would be a 3.5.
Yeah, so I would say 3.5 across the board. Yeah. So should we do chili peppers?
The chilies!
Chili peppers! Okay, so I would say probably a 4.5 for chili peppers.
I would agree with 4.5.
So I feel like really maybe a 4 would be accurate, but I don't feel like it does it justice for the amount of spice that was in this.
Yeah.
Because it obviously is a smutty book. Like, it is just smut.
Oh, for sure.
And there were like insane scenes, like obviously her being on a period, there was sword crossing, you know, there was basically they created like a little choo-choo train, you know, kind of at one point. And so definitely I think 4.5, but I don't think it quite hit the 5 mark, especially compared to the other 2 books.
No, the other 2 books went off.
Yeah.
Like, woo!
Insane shit.
Yeah.
So I would say, apart from the period scenes, the scene in this that really just got me like, what the fuck was the chocolate
That
bunny scene?
Fucking chocolate bunny scene. I haven't stopped thinking about that since last night when I finished this book.
Yeah.
Like, because I do not understand. Well, I get the logistics of it, lovely, but I do not understand why we had to do this.
It wasn't necessary. It's obviously a
Why?
shock value moment, but I feel like it kind of missed the mark a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously had the desired effect because it's given us something to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So the idea is it's Easter. It's a chocolate bunny. So they get her laying back on the floor.
In the woods.
In the woods. In the woods. So the chocolate's out. And then they're rubbing the ears on her nether regions.
Mm-hmm.
So they're rubbing. And then I was like, okay, I get that. That's fine. Because they might just lick it off. If it melts a little bit, they'll lick it off. Lovely.
Yeah.
We can deal with that.
Yeah.
And then it goes rogue because they put it inside her.
And not just like a little bit.
No. They literally fuck her with it.
Yeah, until it's melted.
Yeah. And then he's like, don't worry, I'll lick it all out. No one's licking that amount of chocolate out of someone. I'm telling you that right now.
No.
Because on the following page, she starts fucking someone else.
Yep.
And
she's 100% still got chocolate inside her.
I can't.
I couldn't think I don't want that inside. Like, why would you want that
Just
inside
the
you?
sheer sticky, like it's like congeal. Like, how do you explain the consistency of melted chocolate?
Well, it's when it starts to dry. If you've ever melted chocolate and then watched it dry, it goes that like crumbly, borbly kind of. Oh, and that would be inside. No.
The more I'm thinking about it, the worse it's getting.
Yeah. That was a point where I was like, okay, listen. I just sat through period situations. That wasn't just like a little bit, it was twice. It was 2 nights on the bounce, right? I got through that. I was like, fine. I get like blood play, whatever, fine. And then we got to this, and I was like, all right, chocolate, people put whipped cream on places and lick it off and all. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But like you say, as soon as it went inside, I was like, and I'm done.
Yeah. Fuming.
That's enough of that. But I did carry on reading.
Oh, no, I mean, I finished it to the end. Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah.
But it's just, that was a lot. That was a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on to Dirty Daddy?
Let's start talking about some prawning.
Some shrimping. So we actually put this on our socials when we started reading it. To see how many people knew what this was, and I put it on stories and put a vote up, and I think about 1,000 people voted for no, they'd never heard of it before, and I literally think less than 30 people put yes.
The only thing is, so someone did message us, sorry I've forgotten who it was, but they messaged us and said that there is shrimping where it's actually like toe play, and then there's shrimping as we now know it.
I didn't look up the toe play version of shrimping, so I can't confirm or deny if that's a thing, but when I googled it, it brought up the shrimping as we know it,
as we now know
which
it.
We will explain when we come to that scene, because it is going to be the main talking point for this book. So we'll come to that later, but let us know in the comments if you have heard of shrimping before and what you knew it as.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to give a rundown of the book, and then we will circle back to the shrimping situ?
Yes, I would love to. So we have got Tess, who is Peyton from book 1's best friend. She is going with them to go and see Van's family, so his dad and his brothers, in the cabins, in the mountains. And it's all going to be lovely, and they're going to do whatever.
Yeah, think Credence vibes, in the mountains, snowed in, a dad and 2 sons. I will say quickly, though, that they are not blood-related sons.
Yeah. So she's on her way there. She gets a phone call from Peyton saying, oh, the snow's too bad. I don't think we're going to make it. So then she's like, oh, shit, like, what am I going to do? Because I'm literally going to be stuck here. And Van's like, don't worry, they know you're coming. Just go on in. Go on in, they're expecting you.
Yeah, they'll look after you.
Yeah. So she goes up to the door, and then she realises that Daddy is actually a man that she's been talking to on a dating site, and she has been videoing him with her nether regions for months.
So they've been having very sexy FaceTime calls. So they have seen each other's faces, but obviously she didn't know that the man she'd been talking to online was her best friend's boyfriend's dad. Yeah. Until she turned up that day at his house and he was standing at the front door. And she's like, what the fuck? What are the actual chances? And then she faints.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So they carry her in. She wakes up, and then basically it's shrimping time. There's no other way to describe it.
Let's have it. Yeah.
Let's shrimp for dinner.
Dinner is served. She was the dinner, in case you didn't get that.
So obviously the dad did already like her. He's ready to, see where this all progresses now that she's basically going to be stuck with them. And then the sons start to like her as well. So of course we're going to have a lovely little why choose situation.
Yeah, because Daddy Dearest doesn't mind sharing.
No, he loves it.
With his sons, not sons.
So this is hella spicy, like very, very spicy. But the main thing in this book is obviously the shrimping that we keep discussing.
Yeah.
Should we do ratings?
And then we'll
talk about what shrimping is and some of the scenes.
Okay, let's do stars. Okay, I'll go first. So I'm kind of toying between like a 4 and a 4.5. I don't really know. They're all kind of like somewhere around the region of a 4, whether it's like a high 4 going to a 4.5 or a low 4 going to a 3.5 for like book 1. I would say this is probably a 4 pushing to a 4.5.
Okay, I went straight up 4.5 because I fucking loved it. The Credence vibe that was going on.
Yes, very much so. Really solidified it.
Hard,
yeah. I did like that it was giving Credence vibes.
Yeah.
And I will say for like the people who read Credence and was like, oh, I wanted more of a why choose situation.
Get on this.
This is for you, baby.
Yeah,
this is for you.
Absolutely.
And also it's a quick read as well, so it's not like you have to wait ages.
Should we do the Chili Peppers?
The Chili Peppers.
Yeah. I gave it a 5.
Yeah, 5,
obviously.
Absolutely. It is absolutely a 5.
Straight up 5. She literally gets in the house and then is just straight on the table. Like there's no mucking about. That was the first shrimp.
That was the first shrimping scene. That was like touching on shrimping.
Yeah, so
it was light shrimping.
The other 2 scenes are my favourite shrimping scene. I mean, I never thought I would ever say that before, like in my whole life. But the other 2 scenes were my favourite shrimping scenes. Yeah.
Do you want to give us the definition as per Google of shrimping?
Okay, so shrimping is when you are doing someone in the bottom, you climax in the bottom, and then you get a straw, you suck out what is inside said bottom, and then you put it in the person's mouth and then let them suck it all out. That's it, really.
But in the first scene, we had no straw and no bum.
No.
So I don't know if that's technically classified as shrimping, but he did say it was in it. But it was in her vajayjay, and the boys finished, and he basically sucked it out of her vajayjay and spit it into her mouth. So I feel like that was like light shrimping. And I'm sure he said something about, I can't wait to do it properly with you, something like that.
Oh, I can't remember.
No.
But so my favourite scene is, so they all end up cream pieing her in her vajayjay, all 3 of them, and then he puts his finger in and he swirls it round to mix all of their juices up.
Yep.
Does a bit of that, then uses his mouth to suction it all out, and then spits it in her mouth. Now, this obviously sounds rank, but I really enjoyed it.
I actually liked it. I was totally on board for these scenes. I was on board. I was like, sure, yeah, this is great. This is absolute filth, but he is a filthy guy.
Yeah,
fine, totally on board here. And then the ass and the straw were introduced.
I'll let you take this one.
I don't know if I can do it.
How you go?
So basically, someone finishes in her booty hole. Right? We can't remember who it was. There was a lot going on. Okay, just forgive us. Someone finished in the back door.
Yep.
And Daddy Dearest, Dirty Daddy, Clayton, he is also known as, Clayton gets a straw, sticks it in the booty hole, and sucks it out. I can't even first of all, before I even tell you the rest of the scene, first of all, I can't even, like, would other things be suctioned out at the same time?
I can't. You can't do that.
Okay.
You cannot do that.
He suctions it out.
It was all fine in the book.
It's in the straw, right? The straw is still in his mouth. He removes it from her bumhole, takes it over to her mouth, and puts the end that was inside her backside in her mouth, and then she had to suck into her mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues here with this shrimping situation, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just the sheer consistency of what is going in your mouth, from my cream pie situation, just the volume from all three of them. You look like you're going to cry.
I feel physically unwell because I'm literally picturing it.
Anyway, the sheer volume of cum that must have been inside her, that's then in her mouth. Like, because surely it's not all going to be the same. Like, there's going to be like...
Stop talking immediately right now. I can't.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I do.
Hang on.
It's going to be like clumpy.
About mayo jars.
Because everyone's going to have different consistencies.
Exactly.
My eyes are watering. I literally can't.
Woo! Anyway, so obviously, like, the consistency is always going to be different. So all of them coming together in her, the volume of it in her mouth. Like, that's not even one gulp. That's got to be a couple of gulps.
Oh, stop. I can't.
Anyway, back to your one, then. That's more like the disease situation, I would say. Going from a bumhole into your mouth.
Ass to mouth.
Yeah, ass to mouth.
Oh, I actually feel physically unwell. Yeah, so I was on board with the shrimping until the straw got involved.
Yeah, I hear you.
Straw in the ass.
Yeah.
Not for me, no thank you.
No,
that being said, I actually very much did like the characters in this. Yeah. And there obviously is some plot to this as well. Like, they all fall in love, and she basically gets accepted to university and she has to leave. So she kind of gets a bit spooked because they all start to like her, and she ends up leaving early, and she leaves, and then she goes to see her friend Peyton and Peyton's boyfriends from book one, the priest and the other two. And basically they end up getting her drunk one night, and the priest and Kai, I think it is, end up kidnapping her basically and taking her back to the men in the mountains.
For sure.
To be like, look, you're all fucking miserable. So, we know you want to be together. So here she is. So then she ends up back to them. And I'm not going to lie, I wanted a little bit more of a chase in those situations. I actually wanted them to go and chase her down.
Right.
It just felt a little bit like,
oh, she's so back now.
Yeah. Well, that felt a little bit pointless. But yeah, the tiny bit of sprinkling of plot. Obviously, the plot is them kind of like falling in love and whatever.
And then her leaving, yeah.
Yeah, and then coming back.
It was great, though, honestly. I had a great time with this one.
This series was really, really good. And it's so easy to read. I mean, all three books are like less pages than like one normal kind of size book. So I would say give it a read.
Yeah.
Give the series a read. If you just want like a spicy fun time and something that's like totally batshit crazy.
Get on it.
Yeah. The next one we're going to do is For the Love of Kane by Ames Mills. I hope that's how you say her name. I don't know if it's Ames or whatever. So this is a Y choose, and it's MMMM. 4 male main characters. This is the first time we've ever read like just all male Y choose. And it was great for a change. I will say before we get into it that this wasn't my favorite book. This was actually probably my least favorite book that I've read over the last couple of weeks. It was fine and it was nice for a change. I feel quite indifferent about it, to be honest. I didn't like particularly really enjoy it, but I also didn't hate it or dislike it. It's just sort of like fine. It was fine.
So I really enjoyed all of the spicy scenes, and I feel like it should have been one or the other. Like, this should have been either a smutty book or it should have been like a plot-filled book. Like,
with smut.
The plot just didn't, I don't know, I feel like the plot just didn't really work well with it.
No, it didn't, not at all, no.
And I loved the spice and I loved them all coming together, so I would have rather that just been the plot.
Yeah, so for context, the plot didn't actually kick in until quite a bit into this book. Yeah. And for me, it just took too long. It felt a little bit like it was all about the 4 male main characters. It was all about them coming together. It was kind of alluded to that he was like part of a mafia and that kind of stuff, but we didn't get much of that, to be honest, at the beginning. It was about Kane meeting this new guy. Was it Jackson was his name?
Yeah.
And it was about the progression of their relationship and Jackson's introduction to Blaze and Elijah as well. So it was already Kane who was like the head of a mafia, with Blaze and Elijah. The three of them were sort of together and doing bits. And then Kane meets Jackson. And then Jackson gets introduced to their little group. And it's very spicy, very sort of, not romantic, but they all get involved. And then all of a sudden, the plot kicks in, literally out of nowhere, and then there's 10,000 other characters involved, and it was just sort of a little bit like, whoa, confusing. Where's this going now?
Yeah, again, like the plot, it wasn't just one plot line. There was like several things going on.
Yeah, there was so much happening.
I don't know, it just got really confusing.
I
did this on audio, and I had to re-listen to it to understand what happened from about halfway through. So I was kind of like, yeah, but that doesn't. What I'd written down, I was like, yeah, but that doesn't actually make sense.
No. It didn't make sense to me either. So it wasn't just like one of us that felt that way. It also didn't make sense to me. We'll do a basic rundown and then we'll get into stars and chilies. And we'll, talk about some of the spice and whatever. But I think we're gonna rattle through this one and then move on to Dear Reader. And watch your back quickly after.
This is an age gap one, by the way. Mm-hmm. So Kane is 37. He is part of the mafia. He goes to like an event and then he sees Jackson. So Jackson's 22.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, they just sort of come together and have this one night stand. And then suddenly Jackson's just with him all the time.
Yeah. That is literally what happened.
Sexy things.
Even though Jackson had never been with a man before.
No, never been with a man before. But now suddenly he's got 3 others.
Yeah.
That he's going to do.
I mean, it was insane.
It was insane.
There was a lot that didn't really make sense, but it was still very fun.
It was like the spice was really fucking good. Like I had a great time reading the spice.
Yeah, the first foursome scene was really good. Ooh, right. Yeah. Should we actually do ratings quickly then?
Yep.
Okay, let's do stars.
Yep.
I gave this 3.5.
I gave it 3.5.
Did you? Yeah. I feel, like I said, quite indifferent. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it.
Yeah, no, it was fine.
It was fine, yeah. Chili peppers?
The chilies!
So I've written down here 4.5 and then put 5 in brackets, purely because there's like 4 PPs.
Oh, wait, yeah, I went 4.5.
So should we just say 4.5?
Yeah.
I think when the plot kicked in, like the spice died down a little bit, and then it was sort of a little bit like you were trying to keep up with everything that was going on. Yeah. In this, there's a daddy kink, dom sub, there's good boy, and there's a crawl to us as well.
Oh wait, I've got the Russian names down.
Oh,
Litsokukle. That was nice.
What's that?
Used to say that.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Doll face.
That's right. Yeah.
Litsokukle, and then Koroshi Malshik.
What's that?
Koroshi Malshik. That's good boy.
Oh, yeah. I will say, so we both did audiobook this, and he had a Russian accent in this, and actually the Russian accent was brilliant. It was top notch. Like it really added to the book. It. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Can I just say there was a couple of spicy scenes. So chapter 13 and chapter 34, I actually had to draw them out as I was listening because I didn't get it. So this is page 2 and 3 of my notebook. This is me drawing them as stick figures.
I love that for you.
With their names. Double pen in the ass in chapter 34.
Oh, yeah. That's this one then. I've got that written down.
Yeah.
I put, considering this man had never fucked a man before, he really accepted them.
Yeah.
Because double pen is not something that you take lightly.
We love a bit of in our Why Choose books, don't we? We fucking love it. The sword crossing of the books, love it. This one, I think it was because the plot and the character situation just really took away from the potential of the spice of where it could have gone. I agree with you saying it needed to be one or the other. It either needed to be like a full mafia book with smut, or it needed to just be a shorter smutty book.
Yeah, for sure.
Not both.
I agree.
So I reckon we can probably just move on to Dear Reader now.
I've been buzzing off my tits to talk about this book.
Okay, let's do Dear Reader then, and then we'll do Watch Your Back straight after.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with a rundown of Dear Reader?
Yes, indeed. So we have got Ashley, who at the beginning of the book, her car breaks down. She goes to work and some beautiful man turns up and asks for a massage. She gives him a massage and then he basically wants a happy ending and says he'll give her $6,000 for said happy ending. So then she's like, oh, can I do that? Is that okay? Should I do that? And she's like, no, shouldn't do that. No. And he's like, do you know what? Just take the cash anyway. Just have it. She's like, that's fucking weird. They have a little kiss because why not? Anyway, then he leaves. So she obviously gets her car sorted. Then her mum is getting married to this guy that she's only known for a short amount of time. They end up at the wedding and then her stepbrother turns up with 3 other guys. One of those guys is Mr. $6,000. And she's like, how the fuck have you turned up here? Like, what are you doing here?
And then it is quite literally just the progression of their relationship. So it's a secret society as well. So the boys are all part of this Devil's Backbone secret society at the university. She gets a scholarship to this university. I think it's called Nevaeh University, something like that. She gets a scholarship. They all end up at the same university. She ends up getting sucked into this secret society unknowingly, unwillingly. And there's just so much that goes down. Like there's threats to her life. She thinks it's the boys because there's bullying in this. So it's heavy on the bully romance. They're really, really mean to her, but their relationship does still progress. So it's like a little bit back and forth with that.
So she initially finds this diary, which gives her all the information on the Devil's Backbone Society. And basically, the person who owned the diary is now not alive. So she wants to find out what actually happened to this person and what the Devil's Backbone is all about, like why they're so dodgy and all this shit.
So much happens in these books.
I read the first book ages ago, and just going through my notes, I was like, holy fucking shit, all of that happened.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when I was reading through them a minute ago. I was like, Jesus.
That Paris trip.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Just like a load of random stuff that happened.
Her nearly dying, end up in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And she's convinced it's Nate. So much happens, which is funny because when you're reading it actually feels like it's quite a slow pace.
Yeah.
But like I said, reflecting back, it's like, fucking hell, so much happened. Even the second book in Watch Your Back, like, I have notes that say this feels like it's really slow moving, but looking back at my notes after I'd finished it, it was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It all kicked off again.
I definitely preferred the second book to the first book.
No, I think I definitely preferred the first one over the second one. Yeah.
I don't know what it was about the second book. I found it so easy to read. Whereas the first one, I don't know, it took me a little bit of a while to get into it. But then, I mean, as soon as the plot kicked in and then that fucking ending,
yeah,
I was like, okay, well, this is one of the best things I've ever fucking read.
So I will say the talking point of this book is definitely that fucking cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the cliffhanger, let's do ratings and chili peppers.
Yes.
And let's do it for both. Star ratings for Dear Reader.
Yeah.
I actually gave this a 5, and in brackets I've put 4.5 question mark because I was going between them. The ending for me really, really bumped this up. Like the last 3 chapters were fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah.
They were fucking brilliant. So I would say between a 4.5 and a 5.
Yeah, so it was 4.5 the whole way through until that ended, and I gave it a 5 because I was like, that is actually phenomenal.
I think I gave it a 5 on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Because 4 didn't seem like enough.
Yeah, no way.
So chili peppers for Dear Reader.
Yes, the
chili peppers. So actually there wasn't that much in this. So I went with like 2.5 to 3, but I think 2.5 is probably more accurate.
Yep, I went for 2.5 as well.
Yeah. There actually wasn't that much. I would say my favorite spicy scene was actually close to the end within that last 3 chapters, with Heath.
Her and Heath. Oh, that was actually delightful, that scene. That was stunning.
It definitely could have had more considering it's a why choose.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there needed to be a little bit more. Okay, so let's do stars and chilies for Watch Your Back book 2. Yeah. Stars for Watch Your Back?
5.
I gave this a 4.
I can't not give that 5.
Actually, I think it's because I actually struggled with this getting into it. I felt like the start was just, considering how book 1 ended, and then the start was just like really slow paced, and I was like, shit just literally went down, and now we're all just like calm. So I was expecting a little bit more, maybe a little bit more emotion, maybe a little bit more like chaos at the beginning of book 2. And then I found that it just kind of like died off a little bit in the middle, and I was like, what is happening here? And although I kind of knew from book 1 to expect it all to kick off towards the end, which it fucking did again, and again, the cliffhanger is probably the main talking point. But in book 2, we did get more spicy scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
And more spice to talk about. So let's do chili peppers for Watch Your Back. I gave it 3.5.
I gave it a 4.
Oh, that's quite high. Yeah. Let's talk about some of our favourite spicy scenes over the course of the 2 books. Obviously, there isn't much to talk about for book 1. And we both like the scene with Heath in the final 3 chapters where she finally gets it on with him. That was so good. Book one, there was like a bit of back and forth with her stepbrother Nate, and it was sort of like, well, will they, won't they? Yeah. Like, is he actually like into her? Is he going to be involved in the Why Choose situ, or is the Why Choose situ just going to be like Ashley and Heath, Carter, and Royce? Yeah. And then Nate does get involved in book 2.
He does.
And when he finally got involved, I was like, yes!
Oh my God.
Yes! I've been waiting for this.
But the thing is that when he did get involved, that was the lead up to it all just going to complete shit.
Up, yeah.
It was at the end.
It really was. Again, at the end.
Again, it was at the end, and then we was all like, oh yeah, come on then. Come on, Nate. Gonna do a little stepbrother and stepsister situation.
Yeah.
Fucking have it. And then it went off.
Yeah, bad.
badly, really badly.
So before we talk about the cliffhanger that we won't spoil, actually, as much as, you know, sometimes we do have spoilers in this is not something we do want to spoil.
I don't want to spoil this because I feel like everyone should read this.
Yes.
So that we can all discuss it. Because
absolutely.
Holy mother of fuck. So off the back of this whole Nate situation, so there is a delicious scene in the middle of book 2. I'm not going to say who's involved in it, but I will say that she is banging someone, and then Nate walks in, and then they just lock eyes, and she just carries on. And that was, the tension in that scene was delicious.
Oh, they call her bluff, don't they? So if you imagine there's the sofa and then the door, and she's facing the door and facing the back of the sofa, straddling the person. So obviously Nate walks in and they clock eyes, and Nate obviously says, for fuck's sake, you know, you've got a bedroom, why are you doing it there? And they basically don't want to move, and he calls her bluff. I think he says something like, oh, she won't carry on while someone's here, she doesn't want an audience. And well, she takes up that challenge, and she carries on and finishes with Nate there, and then Nate storms off in a huff.
Oh, that was lovely.
And we now know it's obviously because he was getting a bit jealous. Which we kind of knew anyway. But yeah, we don't want to say too much about these two, because especially book 2, because it's important that you go into this blind and not have it spoiled, because that is the best way.
Yeah. But there is a lot more wide shoes in book 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot more holes are filled at the same time.
So there is multiple scenes that involve multiple people, which we obviously didn't get in book 1. So it is more wide choosy in book 2. Book 3 for this isn't out until September.
Yeah, not happy about that, not gonna lie.
So the cliffhanger at the end of book 1 was like, oh my god.
I had like tears in my eyes.
Literally.
At the end of book 1.
Full body chills, not even joking. Actual full body chills, goosebumps everywhere, devastated. I was like, oh my god. End of book 2 cliffhanger was like,
my mouth was open for a good 10 minutes. Like flies were all in there. It was all really bad.
Yeah. It really got your brain going. You were thinking,
trust no one anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
Trust no man.
Because it's one of those cliffhangers where you get to the end and then you're replaying the entire book in your brain going, what did I miss? How did I miss this? Yeah.
I'm still really fucking confused. And I've spoken to quite a few people about this, and I still don't know. I still don't get it.
I don't think anybody does. So I'm very excited for book 3 to see where she takes this. Right. That was all our books for the week. Like we said at the start, we actually did read more books than what we've discussed today, but we're like pushing some things to be in next week's podcast. So out of the books that we've talked about today, what is your favourite? So you've got Dear Reader, Watch Your Back, For the Love of Kane, Dirty Daddy and Dirty Priest.
So Watch Your Back is my favourite for the plot, and then Dirty Daddy is my favourite for the spice.
So I would say Dear Reader was my favourite for the plot, and Dirty Daddy was my favourite for the spice. Yeah, 100%. Nice. Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Love it.
Okay, so next week we will have Speak and Stutter. We'll have Ensnared and Entangled. We will also have... Oh, what else have we got?
Broken Bonds.
Broken Bonds.
Bonds that tie. Bonds that tie book 1 and 2.
Yeah. And I can't remember if we've got any novellas or anything in there. No, we do have a tendency to switch things up middle of the week, so don't be surprised if there's a random one thrown in there or move some things around. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. All right, cheers. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers. Clink.
Clink.